I stood and realised just how absent people were here. There wasn't a sound from anyone, not even a child playing or a distant car. Only nature seemed alive here. The end of summer leaves muttered above me, caught in the too light for the heat breeze. Somewhere, a cricket lazily clicked its slow, dry rasps, oppressed by the swelter. A warmongering wasp interrogated me, but there were no human sounds. The absence of people, to a town girl like me, felt stifling. I must have been standing very still because a wood pigeon landed heavily in the low branch above me. Listening to the pigeon's cooing call, I told myself firmly that we could live here, that we could be happy here. Here the isolation would give us the peace we so badly needed. I had never been to Hereford until that morning when 7-year-old Jack and I gazed in awe as we drove over the Severn Bridge at dawn. The huge expanse of water beneath felt like a tangible delineation, no, not the River Styx, between the danger of the past and the safety of the future. As the sun broke the horizon, pink shepherd warning skies reflected onto the great stretch of water below. Hereford, I told Jack, is the least populated county in England. I didn't add, and therefore the perfect choice for us to start again. He was silent, but I felt the crossing was like a rebirth, like we were leaving the death of our life before and crossing into something new. I felt it, and I hoped that he did too. If this didn't work for us, I didn't know what we would do, because I knew that we couldn't keep moving. I could see so clearly how much it was killing Jack. After we had run, I wasn't sure where to go, so we simply moved around, staying in 3 hotels in 3 months. But his anxiety had changed from his previous mild stutter into stomach aches and bitten nails. This cottage in Herefordshire had a lot to deliver. It had to be perfect. Jack couldn't suffer any more. I wasn't sure I could suffer any more either. I was like a vase, broken all the way to the base, superglued up, but no longer confident of holding water. This move had to work. I looked around, wanting to see the view from my prospective new home. I could see across the hills for miles, my gaze drawn to the gentle swell of the hills and dipping valleys. But this summer there was very little green. Instead it was a palette of pale brown, dust beige, and muted gold. Although still only July, several weather records had already been broken, and the fields were scorched and thirsty, the crops dying. Radio programs dwelled on environmental anxieties. I wanted to, but I was afraid of something more immediate. I could only think of him. But he wouldn't find us here. It was too remote. Beyond the cottage gardens it turned back to farming fields. In the distance, perhaps a couple of miles away, I could see a single farmhouse. Beyond that, an empty nothing. I realised that living here, Jack and I could go for weeks without seeing anyone. We could become shadows, unseen and safe. A little settled, I turned my attention to what I hoped would be our new home. The stretch of the driveway suggested that there might be a grand house at the top, but there wasn't. Instead, there was a small brick cottage of simple design. Its roof was low, like a hat that's been pulled down too low on a head, with 2 eaves popping out at each end. Although I'd never been in it, I knew it had 2 bedrooms. I had assumed they were both upstairs, but now, seeing the smallness of it, I wasn't so sure. I didn't know because there was no floor layout on Rightmove, and I was glad. It meant that no one could Google it and find out. Another plus, I realised, was that I could hear the sound of the estate agent's car before I could see it. A silver Micra pulled into view, past the scrub of small trees, and stopped in front of me. A young man, with the engine still running, lowered the window. "Miss Law?" "Lisa, please." "Do you want a lift up to the cottage?" "Thanks, but I'll walk up. I was just having a poke around." He drove onto the cottage and I strode up to meet him. "Great for views," he said, opening his door. "You'll be king of the hill up here." And it was. The 2 acres of garden fell gently on all sides, with a flattish lawn to the west of the cottage and on the east a sloped, shrubby area with a steeper gradient down.